Yeah, so we are live, I think. Cool. I hope you all can hear me all right. Welcome to Live with the Jarl, the show where we focus on new music arising from the underground mainly. Um, Today we only have two features on our show. Normally we would have three, but instead we are going to talk about a little bit something else that happened recently in our country, in Norway. It has to do with music, and I think it's kind of great. Now, before we jump on to our show, just want to go through the usual. I encourage you to press the follow button if you're on Twitch, or the subscribe button if you are on YouTube. We are sending live on both those places. We are, as usual, live every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central European Time. And if you want us to feature your music on our show, let us know. Send us a mail or message or PM or whatever. We are currently sending on Whispering Voice Records official channels. So you can message us anywhere you can find Whispering Voice Records. Of course, I cannot promise you that you will be featured. We do get a lot of promos from different places, different promoters and record labels, and so we just have to, throw the dice and pick out something. But if we do feature you, I can promise you that we will give it the best and give you my honest opinion of the EP or album. We do usually not feature singles on our show because it's really hard to, if you haven't given out much before, then it's really hard to review just one or two tracks. You don't have much base to go on, so yeah. Like I said, we're trying to feature new music, so if your music was published a long time ago, there's also a chance that it might get bypassed. Every song that is featured, I have to learn that word. All songs that are featured on our show will also be put on the Jarl's playlist on Spotify. If you go to Spotify and search for the Jarl, you might find a playlist. Of course, the show is fairly new, so the playlist is not that long yet, and all tracks that are featured on our show are put on that playlist after the show, not before. But as the time goes by, I hope the playlist gets even longer and longer. I know it will, but yeah, and lots of different music. We feature all kind of metal music, hard rock music. So if your band plays something different than that, okay, let us know, but probably not for our show, I think. Also, there has been a lot of people talking about what's it called, DMCA or something like that. We do not play people's entire tracks on our show. It's because the music belongs to the band or the artist, and if you really like what you hear, we always encourage you to go to that band or that artist playlist or music or Facebook or Bandcamp or whatever, and listen to it. We feature about 50-60% of the track, just so you can get a little taste of it, and encourage you to, you know, support the artist. I know it's really hard being an artist or a band these days. Not much traveling to do. I know concerts all over the world are being cancelled, and festivals are being cancelled, and yeah, you know, people go digital. But when you go digital, you don't have the luxury of selling merch that easy. What the hell? Sorry for my language there, but I need to see. Yeah, I don't know why this sound keeps popping up. That's not good. Well, anyways, yeah, like I said, when you're playing digital concert, you don't have the luxury of selling merch on your you know, hand-to-hand sales like you do when you're playing live concerts. So that's why I always encourage you to go out and support the band. Play the music. If you don't, you know, if you play it on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube or whatever, leave a note on your Facebook or something, you know, just listen to this band, just listen to that band, you know, people will see it and will, you know, get curious and listen, and before you know it, some of the bands that you listened to when they were underground is, you know, before you know it, they are doing it, making it. Yeah, so that was today's Preacher. Now we will move on to our first feature of the night. That's the band called Alter Idem. And before we start, we will just do a little bit of this. Let me see. Yeah, that was Alter Idem and a track called Fragments of Consciousness. Now, from this track is from an EP called also called Fragment of Consciousness. It was released on August the 1st this year. I think it was a co-release by Reality Fade Records and Vicious Instinct Records. Last one was founded by the band's vocalist Matt Turkington back in 2014, I think it is. Now, you can hear me okay? Yeah, cool, yeah. Now, Alter Idem is a 4-piece death metal band hailing from Queensland, Australia, I think, featuring band members from Internal Devour, I Exalt, Empire Fall, with each band having success of their own, of course. And like I said, Fragment of Consciousness is Alter Idem's debut album. Now, before we dive into the EP, let's just take a little bit closer look at the band first. You know, I like to know what I'm listening to and who. Though it might look like Alter Idem is a fairly new band, it's not really the case. The band actually changed their name in 2020. Before that, the band was known as a band called Splatterpuss. That name doesn't ring a bell for me, but yeah. And under that name, I think they had 3 releases before they changed their name to Alter Idem. In 2015, they released a self-titled single called Labyrinth of Dark Energy, which was a part of the album Labyrinth of Dark Energy that came out in 2018. Well, so that's a little bit about the band. They released this EP 1st of August 2020, and in my opinion, Fragment of Consciousness has a little bit better sound than what was previous released from the band when they were Splatterpuss. I did not very thoroughly, but I did listen to some of that, and taking this EP into consideration and putting it against earlier releases, I think sound-wise the EP is fortunately much okay, maybe not fortunately, because it's not bad sound on the earlier releases, so don't misunderstand me, but this EP has a better sound, even so. Now the EP is consists of 4 I think well put together tracks. The sound is hard, like you heard, it's hard and brutal and well produced, as it should be with this kind of music. They kind of look at themselves as death metal, and this EP definitely shows that. And I think it's well put together. Like I said, it doesn't waver much or anything from what it's supposed to be. Now I'm going to play a part of another track called And Unravel, and what I like about this track that really stood out for me is the industrial element that I put into it. I think it's really perfect fitting end, because you know the track And Unravel is the last track on this EP, and it's a pretty fitting end to it all. Now I hope I didn't set the sound too high now, so you don't get your ears blown out. But anyways, here is And Unravel. Yeah, that was the track called And Unravel, and you can clearly hear the industrial elements in this, and I think it's you know, I'm kind of into industrial. Kind of some old friends of mine had a band once called V28, and that music really got me into industrial because I find it's cool, and this track definitely has a good element of that, and the use in it for the death metal sound, I think it works pretty well. I had to also listen to it a couple of times because you know, when I heard it on my loudspeakers, my sound system, I was kind of I couldn't get the grip on the bass drums, and I think you can clearly hear them, but it was, you know, first I thought, okay, maybe the sound is a little bit low on the bass drums, and then I put on my headphones, and boom, it was like, okay, they're just my sound system. So that wasn't the case, but actually what was the case is when I put on my headphones, I could really hear how sharp the bass was. You know, when I do it through my sound system, then when I do it through my sound system, you know, the sound system has its own settings. You can tweak the the bass, the treble, everything. When I put on my headphones, the sound is kind of raw. Of course, I could go into the computer and do settings there, but I like it, you know, as clean as possible. And it really, shit, now this thing keeps giving me problems. Okay, there we're back. Yeah, it keeps shutting off and turning on again. Now, like I said, when I put on my headphones, I could hear how sharp the bass was. Not the bass drums, but the bass. It was really, you know, really hard, and it worked, you know, perfectly. So, you know, an EP is usually hard to put a number on if you're going to you know, rate it, since you always have less tracks to go on, and if a band hasn't put out previous works, it's you don't have anything to compare to. I could, of course, compare it to Platypus, but I don't want to do that, because even though the genre isn't that different, the sound is kind of different, you know. So if you reinvent yourself, you know, you want to go a different direction or a different sound, I think it's not fair to use what you've done earlier as a pinpoint. You have to, you know, listen to the music as new music. So I did that, and like I said earlier, this EP doesn't waver from the death metal sound, even though it has elements of industrial. It just, you know, works pretty good. And if I was to put a number on it, and I am doing that, of course, I had to go with the wow factor, you know. So, like I said, when I put on my headphones, I got a little wowed. So and I like when music do that to me, when I like, wow, that is something I haven't heard for a while. That to me is great. So this EP with these 4 tracks, as an EP, as a death metal EP, I would rate it an 8 out of 10. It's kind of high, I know, but you know, the wow factor for me really boost this number up. So I think we can expect more great things from this band in the future. And you know, I usually put 2 tracks from an album on the Jarl's playlist, and if it's an EP, I only do 1, you know, because, you know, it doesn't matter if you listen to the music on my playlist or somewhere else, you know, but fair should be fair. So I was kind of it was kind of a hard decision to choose a track from this 4-track EP, because, you know, I think all the tracks were good, but I still had to go with the wow factor, and the track that really gave me that and also had you know, the industrial elements was the track And Unravel. So I went with that one. So the track that will be put on the Jarl's playlist will be And Unraveled. So there you have it. And before we go on further, I just have to check that every system is good to go here. Yeah, it looks like that. So we will be traveling a while now, because, you know, this band, Idem, comes from Queensland, Australia. So we have to travel, yeah, you know, to the other side of the world for the next band. This next band, we will have it right on here. There it is. Yeah. We are going to travel to North Carolina, United States of America, and we're going a little bit more progressive, yeah, to say at least. Now this is also a new band, and what differs from this band to the other band we were just discussing or talking about is that this band is brand new. So it's like a shiny little star. So we will just go right to it, if I have it on here, and that I do. Yeah, what you just heard there was a little piece of the track from Celaris called Reprieve Release. It's from their debut mini album called In Hiding. It's not that easy to with that there it's not that easy to see it right here because you know the writing is a little bit off, but yeah, okay, you can maybe see it now. Like I said, Celaris is a brand new band hailing from North Carolina, and they're now out with their debut album, or miniature album if you like. It's called In Hiding. It's a band. It's a mini album consisting of what was it? 7 tracks. Yeah, and they play, you know, a little bit of progressive metal or prog metal if you like. They are influenced by, you know, groups like Veil of Maya, Periphery, Era, and the Contortionist, and Tesseract. Yeah, so yeah, this band hasn't gotten that much air under their wings yet, but still they have delivered, I think. Before this album came out, the band released 2 singles also in this year: The Taurus Separation and A Manifold in Parallel, both which are a part of their mini album. And you know, the mini album came out in October 16th this year, so it hasn't been on the market for that long, and it was self-released. So but before I go straight into this album, I want to say a little bit more about the band. The band was forged in 2018 by a duo of Rachel and Joshua, and then later they picked up Dan, Chris, and John, completing it to make it a 5-piece band. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. 5-piece band is not that unheard of now. So yeah, when I first listened to this album, there was I couldn't really wrap my head around how great the sound was. I was like, wow, this sound. There's nothing I could say put my finger on. So I had to, you know, take a little bit closer look at the production of this mini album, and when I did that, yeah, okay, everything made it clear. This album is actually produced by none other than the legendary Jamie King, who has, you know, done, I don't know how many, you cannot count it, you know, he's done so much with so many known band. Which list I had, but I see the list disappeared here, so yeah. Anyway, you can go to jamiekinaudio.com and you can check him out there, but yeah. Now, like I said, the mini album contains 7 tracks, bearing a little less than 40 minutes, and the music is really easy to listen to, both sound-wise and production-wise, and the musicians are you know, really great. When you listen to it, you get a sense that these musicians are both educated and schooled, you know. So yeah, that's the vibe you will get when you listen to it. It's like 5 great musicians. Also, when I listened to it, to this EP, I had a little bit. I close my eyes, you know, like I sometimes do when I listen to music. I usually do that when I need to listen to specific parts of a song, or try to listen to after an instrument, you know. if I cannot hear it, but this time I will just close my eyes because you know it's easy listening music. And I did get a distinct Dream Theater vibe from this album, and also some Opeth vibe. I think Opeth. So that's kind of if you're into those kind of bands or that kind of music, you should definitely give this album a little bit time. And before we move on, I want to play another song for you, which is one of the singles that came out a little bit earlier, previous to this mini album. So we're going to listen to the track called The Taurus Separation. Yes, they had part of the Taurus separation track, and while I play that, I took a little closer look at the producer Jamie King. Found the list that I was missing before. He has been involved with a lot of bands. The list is actually, it goes back to before 2000, before 2000. With band like Alessandra Azazel, The Contortionist, Between the Buried and Me. Not every band everybody has heard it, but kind of big, over in the States. So you can think you can probably get a picture of how much time and effort has been put into this mini album. And let me see here, I need my cheat notes. So yeah, if you listen to the album, like I said earlier, you will get a distinct impression of skilled and schooled musicians. It's not that easy speaking English when you're Norwegian, or it's easy, but the pronouncement is different. But if you listen to the last track on this album, Escharotic, you will really get a clear vibe of how skilled these musicians really are. I wasn't actually planning on playing that track, but now I kind of wanted to listen a bit more to it. So I'm gonna go a little bit off script here, and we're going to do a third song, which is I usually don't do. I usually normally do two, but yeah, let's do it. We have time. So here comes Escharotic.
Starting
Yeah, so that was the last track on this mini album, sorry, called In Hiding by Celaris. I hope I pronounced that name right. Escharotic. And as you can clearly hear, the guys and girl, they know their music. Yeah, it's it's obvious that they get inspirations from like band like Dream Theater and stuff like that. And great production, easy listening music, and good musicians. That can only lead to a good debut miniature album like this one. And yeah, I'll just have to check here. Yeah, so to give this less than an 8 would be a bad decision. So I will leave this with an 8 out of 10 also, like the album before, even though it's two different sounds, two different musics genres, but still you have to judge them on the type of music, type of genre, and within that, yeah, definitely an 8. I expect the next album to be, yeah, the same, maybe better if possible. So yeah, an 8 out of 10. You cannot get better than that. I think you can, of course, but then magic needs to happen. Yeah, so that was the 2 bands that we had featured for today. Now, before I go on to the next point, which is not a feature but something I just really wanted to say, just something I have on my heart. Before I do that, I wanted to say something. I said it before in the start that bands these days are having a really hard time not being able to tour, not being able to play concert, and selling CDs, albums, vinyls, merch. I implore you to check out the bands that I feature here, and also on the Jarl's playlist, and go check them out. Check out their Facebook, YouTube channels. You might get that wow factor that I got a little bit earlier listening to one of these bands. Of course, I'm not saying Celaris didn't give me some wow factor too, because the production was really, really great. So just if you like music, if you want band to have their head above water, it doesn't cost too much. Just go check them out. If it's not your type of music, okay, well then you are a little bit wiser. But if it is, then you are a lot wiser. Yeah, so that was what I wanted to say. Now on to the next thing, because I think something really great has happened not too long ago here in the Norwegian metal scene, and I was a little bit surprised. Not really surprised, but I didn't think it would get that much attention as it has in the Norwegian metal scene. But I wanted to give it a little focus, because I think it's fantastic that it did get that kind of focus. Now, not that the band itself needs any introduction or help or anything from me. I'm just a little guy sitting here talking about bands from the underground, and you know, this band, of course everyone starts in the underground, but this band is far from it. Now let me just see here. Yeah, there you have it. You know, everyone that listens to extreme metal or black metal knows this, has heard this, has seen it, probably owns it. But something really great just happened for those outside Norway or even in Norway that hasn't checked it out yet. Our first edition of the LP A Blaze in the Northern Sky has now been set to be a part of the National Library. One more time. The National Library. That's a tongue twister for you when you're Norwegian. A part of the National Library's new exhibition on Norwegian cultural history. Now, black metal as cultural history, that is actually a wow factor, if I have to be honest. Of course, black metal is without a doubt Norway's most exported music ever in history, in Norwegian history. They export this music for billions of Norwegian crowns. I'm not going to translate that or calculate into dollars, but you can, you know, divide it by 9 or something. Yeah, this LP was, you know, let me remember this correctly. It was produced in 91 and released in 92, I think, by Dark Throne. It was recorded in Kolbotn, and even though you know, A Blaze in the North Sky isn't the first album from Dark Throne, it's the first black metal album. They had the Soul Side Journey, I think, before that, but you know, this album has had an immensely strong impact on what is black metal today, you know, in the world, you know. So when I got the news that A Blaze in the Northern Sky was to be a part of the cultural history on the National Library's exhibition, I was like, what? That is great. And I saw the interview with the Nocturno Culto that was done by the journalist Harald Fossberg. He wrote the book, you know, Shades of Black. If you haven't read it, you definitely should. It's a history about Norwegian black metal. And he did an interview at the Norwegian Library, National Library. So you can check that out on YouTube. It is in Norwegian, but it's texted in English. So yeah, I saw that interview and I was like, this is awesome. And you know, now I didn't get into this kind of music before I was, you know, like 14-15 years old, and I, like many others, started with a little bit heavier music, you know, not that dark, but you know, I started up with yeah, the more likely band like Maiden and stuff like that. But you know, playing music in a band, 14 years old, at a place where you know, 7-8 other bands rehearsed. Of course, you did get this information, even though it didn't mean that much to me then. It definitely means something to me now. So to be a part of that, not that I'm a part of it, that's not what I meant, but to have this kind of music. I do play in an extreme metal band myself, you know. Here it is, which has its roots back in the late 80s, early 90s. So it means that it's recognized. That's kind of what it means to me. It finally gets the recognition that I think it deserves. Because when you have done like these guys, meant so much for so many people, or not just all around the world, but also here in Norway, and motivated so many people, and made a whole scene active, or more active. It's just it can't go unrecognized. So I will employ you to go check out that interview on YouTube. Nocturno Culto is I don't know him personally, but from what I hear, is a great guy. So that's just what I wanted to share with you at the end of this. There, at the end of this live stream. If you have any questions about our show, or want to be a part of it, want your band featured on it, or something like that, or if you have something else to contribute with, please let me know. Send me a message. You can send it to me on YouTube. You can send it on you can send it on Facebook. You can send me a mail. You can go here, wispenvoicerecords.com, and find emails. I do get a lot of promos, and usually this show is based on promos I receive. I don't go around searching for new bands to see if they released something or not, because basically I don't need to, because I get like 5 to 10 promos a day from various promoters or other record labels and stuff like that. But it will be cool, and I will try my best to bands that send me directly, because I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is for a band to try to get your music out there without having this big promotion company in the back, or distributors doing everything yourself, having a self-release and sending your album all around the world. I know how hard it is. I've been doing this, I don't know how many years, at least 20, I think, at least 20 years. So that's why I started Whispering Voice Records in the first place. So let me know what I can do for you with this show. And if you have, also I will do a little bit of self-promotion there. If you do have music that you haven't published yet, that you think will you need or want a little bit help to release, you can send us a part of it, and we can see what we can do for you. Here at Whispering Voice Records. My show, the Jarl show, will in the future be a standalone show. I will not use my label to do this show. I do this show because I get a lot of promotion from not a lot of promotion. I get a lot of promos from other bands, and instead of posting everything on Facebook, I do this. I do this show, I listen to the music, I play part of this of the music for you to listen also, and you can hopefully go check out the rest of the albums. I do not play the entire tracks because, like I said so many times, it's not my music, it's the band's or the artist's music. I do not want to steal anything from them. Everything I play here, I have permission from the band directly. I make sure of that because there are a lot of DMCAs out there nowadays. So no music get played on my show without the band or the artist's permission. That's one of the most important things for me, because I'm here to do a little bit of promotion for the band, get to listen to great new music, and have a good time. I think it's fun doing this. And that being said, I'm actually on overtime now, but you know, it's fun to chat a little bit. Go check out my Spotify list. It's not that big right now, but it's getting bigger. Every time I do the show, it gets a little bit bigger. And it's called the Jarl, or the Jarl's playlist. Oh my god, no, let me see. I'm getting a little bit unsure. It's called the Jarl. Yeah, it's very easy. And go check that out. Follow me if you like. I hope you subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow our Twitch channel if you want to do that. Get notification. We are on the air. We are live every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central European time. I'm not sure what time that will be in the different countries or parts of the world. You can always Google it, but that's when we are on. And you can also check it out later on YouTube. So yeah, this is the Jarl. Until next time, I hope you stay safe and take care of each other. The sooner we get through this, the sooner you'll be able to go to live concert. That's it. Cheers.